It is session number 165, and Mr. Sid Gordon of those Boston Braves slash Milwaukee Braves says hello with this wonderful logo patch on his arm, card number 5 from the 1953 Bowman color set. While we're talking about this set, real quick, I want to show this card number 19 of Al Dark. And the reason I want to share this card is because I also have this card, which you can see was scrawled on by Mr. Al Dark, and I was recently gifted this card just a couple of days ago when a Card Room Live friend, Kurt from Brooklyn, was briefly not in Brooklyn and was in Savannah on his way to a spring training vacation with a buddy. I think he actually might still be there, or maybe he's on his way back to New York. But on his way down to Florida, Kurt stopped off in Brooklyn. Got to meet Kurt for the first time. It's always great to meet a card community friend, especially when I hadn't met him in person before. But it's funny when you spend a lot of time talking to people on live streams or watching their videos, you feel like you already know them. So meeting Kurt was that same experience. Like, oh yeah, I know you. I've been talking to you for years, but for the first time in person. And Kurt was very nice to give me this card. And Kurt himself is building this set as well. So I wanted to give Kurt a shout out. This is Card Room Live. You may have noticed this is not a show because I'm just kind of rambling on here. This is a hangout for fellow vintage collectors, whether we have guests or not. Most of the time, we are just wasting time like I just did, looking at and talking about old cardboard, and through it all, we do try to make it time well wasted, which is exactly what we've been doing for about 4 years, nearly 5 years. If you're here with us live, welcome to you. Welcome to my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to the commenters, to the folks from all over social media land. If you're new to Card Room Live, don't be afraid to say hello. Just say hello in the chat. You'll discover that you are among cardboard friends. This is the live stream where everybody knows your name. Sure, it might take us a few tries to learn it, but we will learn yours soon enough. If you're listening to this later, perhaps you're working, or you're going to work, or you're coming home from work, or you're sorting cards, or you're looking at eBay or auction sites. Maybe you're rolling out the meatballs, walking the dog, sitting on the john, putting the kids to bed, No, you're battling the raccoons in the backyard. You're wondering if Eddie Wakis will come up in conversation. Strangely enough, Eddie Wakis already came up before I hit live. He's just part of every conversation. Wondering what other kind of Mike foolery we'll get into tonight. Whatever you might be doing, I do hope you get something out of the next hour of this time well wasted. If you want to get in touch or have ideas for future sessions, you can email me at bowen53channel@gmail.com. And all that information, all that other information, the Instagram and the X and the Blue Sky are right below me in the description. This session of Card Room Live is brought to you by the Bowman's TV baseball card gum set. For the 1955 season, it's featuring the greatest lineup of Major League Baseball stats ever presented in exciting full-color pictures. And here's an example of one, in case you were curious about what they look like. Every sport fan, young and grown up, will want to collect this complete card series for only 5 cents. You can get 9 color cards and some bubblegum in one big pack. In 1936, Bowman Gum offered the first bubblegum baseball picture card series to enthusiastic millions of sports fans, and now, after 20 years of leadership, they offer this great new series of baseball stars. Act now. And hey, I hear some of these TV sets actually work. You can actually turn them on. And if you're wondering what I mean, you can go find some videos on my channel that show you that. There's also a heck of a great bunting card in this set. You can just ask Mr. Reindeer Studios. And hey, speaking of Reindeer Studios, go get yourself a wonderful Card Room Live t-shirt on reindeerstudios.com. So let's see who's here in the bar on this March Sunday evening. This might be the best one, according to Eddie's Cardboard Chaos. We'll see what happens, Eddie. Coach Neil is here. What's up? Good to see you, Coach Neil. Mike Good is here. The wrench holder himself. Reindeer Studios is here. Steven with a PH / RipFan8 is here. The best of the best. Stuke, another wrench holder, is here. Let's get the party started with Mike, the sports history collector. Sven Patrick is here. Jacob Dahl is here. Orlando, a collector's dream, is here. Ross loves cards. Confluence sports cards. The dog ate my card. And happy Eddie Wakus to everyone. Peter B is here. Melissa, the sports guru, is here. Ryan's bullpen sports cards is here. It's totally not a show, Orlando. Nick, the Iowa collector, is here. Sports Card Reverie is here. Spartan Card Collector is here. Maxa Jackson is here. The WBC is underway. If you're not listening to sports to what's this thing called? Cardroom Live. It's understandable. There he is, Kurt in Brooklyn. Kurt, are you in Brooklyn or are you on the way back to Brooklyn? Vintage Hot Stove 70 is here. The Oscars, right? Yeah. Are you watching the Oscars? Who watches the Oscars? No offense to your wife. Warren D in the CLE is here. Peacemaker Cards is here. Dank Cardboard is smelled by Legends of the Dugout. Yeah, 1955 moment. I don't know if it's the best, but I do think it's picked on quite a bit. So I like to come to its support. Alligators are taking care of the raccoons, so you're battling the alligators instead. Mookie Chilson with some trivia. Sid Gordon was only 57 years old when he dies after suffering a heart attack while playing softball in Central Park. Yeah, really, of all the things you could have told us about Sid Gordon, Mookie. 9 cards for 5 cents, right? Take us back. And the obligatory comment by Mr. Reindeer Studios. And Carl is here from Down Under. Yank Me Card Steve's, West 238th Street, and the Dundies, right? You're still in Tampa. Okay. All right. In spring training. Good for you, man. In case you missed it, Al Dark is right here. Appreciate it again, Kurt. So we've got a round of cards with stories coming up, but cards with stories is only fun when we've got some collectors with cards and some stories to go along with them. So let's get some collectors in here, shall we? We've got 2 gentlemen that famously spent a few days in a house that was lovingly called the Frat House. Let's get these 2 guys in here. I can do this. Hold on a second, guys. Something's being weird with, maybe if I do that. There he is.
What's up? One, but I'm no gentleman. I don't know.
And this guy too, Dave Legends of the Dugout, and I've lost him. Oh, there he is. Yeah. Hey, it was only 9 minutes, Dave. Jeez. How are you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic. We're on here.
That's right. Yeah. What could be better, right?
Anytime we're talking about baseball cards, I'm doing good.
All right. Right. And we got a brand new caller, first time caller, Trevor from Blue Collar Cards. Trevor, how are you tonight?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Glad to have you, Trevor. All right. So these 3 guys collect cards. At least that's what I hear. And from the looks of their backgrounds, it seems like they have some cards. And I'm going to assume that they have stories because they showed up. So if anybody, Warren D loves bunting cards, everybody. If anybody has not been here for a round of cards with stories, here's how this works. It's really simple. These guys are going to go around the horn, and each of them is going to take their turn to share a story about something behind the card. Now, they can also break the rules. Perhaps it's not going to be a card, but the story is either related to the player, related to some baseball history. Maybe it's a hobby-related story, or maybe it's a personal story from their own experience in relation to collecting and the hobby and maybe baseball or another sport. So that's kind of the fun, is to sort of see how these guys see their collection. So one thing that I always like about this is it's a fun way to sort of see how these guys collect, what's in their collection. But it's another way for us to sort of appreciate the stories behind the cards and behind the memorabilia, because honestly, to me, the more you look at cards and the more you kind of get comfortable with them, the things that stand out are not necessarily the cards, but the stories that go along with those cards and how they mean things to different collectors. So, Trevor, since you're a first-time caller, we're going to start with you tonight.
So for my work, I work away from home occasionally. And I'll show you the card now. It's a Bowman's Best Josh Donaldson rookie that has an autograph on it. But I was working down around Mobile, Alabama, and was working night shift, and got to go on, found a wonderful card shop in Spanish Fort, Alabama. Big Hit Sports Cards, owned by Nathan Caraway. That's a little plug. But I got to going in there 2, 3, 4 times a week because I'm 10 hours away from the house and nothing else to do. And he would just, when he found out I was into vintage, most of it was in the back room. So I'd come in and he'd say, hey, just go on back here, bring the box out here and go through it. And so that's what I'd do. Well, I was back there one day and I hear the door chime or whatever. And I hear Nathan get real excited. And I'm like, what's going on out there? Well, this older gentleman had, he and his adult grandson had brought in a card to show Nathan and see what he thought of it, and to pick up a Pokemon card that they'd submitted to PSA, and PSA upcharged them on. And so I peek out, and Nathan's telling him, I want to buy this card, but I want to get someone else's opinion on its authenticity from somebody I know that has it. So he calls up his friend. His friend shows up. The card is a Tom Brady rookie playoff contender autograph card. It's not graded. His friend that he called is Josh Donaldson.
Oh.
So in this quick little trip to the card shop, I have met first baseman of the New York Yankees at that time. I've just seen the most expensive sports card I'm probably likely to see in person in its ungraded form.
Right.
After they all leave, I find out that the Pokemon card that they came in to pick up, PSA had upcharged them because PSA claimed it was a $10,000 Pokemon card. So I just seen the most expensive Pokemon card I'm ever going to see, all in the course of 30 minutes.
Wow. That's intense, man.
Yeah. That was just card shop show trip I've ever encountered.
Did you get hit? Did you get struck by lightning at the same time? Because
One of those. After that, I went ahead and bought me a Josh Donaldson rookie autograph card.
Yeah, right.
Well, but it's one of those things. Had anybody told me that story, I'd been like, yeah, right. And as soon as I left, I'm texting buddies up home that are into cards like, you're never going to believe this. And they're like, oh my. But
fantastic.
I played baseball in high school in Mobile and is from that area and lives down in that area at that time too. So.
Right. All right, Dave.
All right. So this is kind of a sports card, but not a sports card, but it is in a PSA slab. It's kind of weird, but the story of this. So 2023 National, like all the little like PSA, Whatnot, everybody does their own thing and stuff. Well, Whatnot was doing, hey, take your photo, we'll make a card of you and slab it, right? So I'm with Matt of the Card Story and his family. They're doing their stuff, and my son and I, we do ours. And they're like, come back later, pick it up and everything. So later on, we're, hanging out, looking at cards. My son's sitting there, over by Blue Jacket. I'm talking to Blue Jacket, and I was like, all right. And I go to my son. I was like, check on him. He's like, I'm not feeling well. Like, can we leave? So we leave. Totally forget about picking up this thing. Well, Matt texts me. He's like, hey, we picked up your card for you. You know, because we were over there. And I was like, oh, great. So we get back to the room. They lost it. They couldn't find it. And stuff. So it was just like, all right, he's like frantic about it. And so like he still can't find it. Next day I'm leaving. You know, my son and I are getting on a plane. Matt and his family's still staying there. Next thing I know, like later on, I'm getting a text message from Matt saying that Brody, his oldest son, found it sitting on some table. Like his son was walking around trying to find Pokemon.
Wow.
Everything and snagged it. So fast forward to December after Christmas when Matt and his family drive all the way over here to visit me and stuff. I finally get the card. So it's my son and I's first national together card. So I think it's a little memento piece of us, you know, at our first national together. So like you see how tall he is there? He's like at my height right now.
So he just found it randomly on a table at the national.
Yes.
Wow.
Just sitting there. Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. So that's one of my favorites.
Warren, how do you not know that there's a CRL t-shirt? Scott, help him out in the chat.
Did we get a discount?
You'll have to ask Reindeer. Yeah, ask Reindeer what the promo code is.
It's your channel. You should have a promo code.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't tell me anything.
Oh, we get upcharged. I see it.
Yeah. You get upcharged. All right, Eddie, you're up.
All right. I hope I'm not like glitching or cutting out or anything because I feel like you guys are a little bit. It's probably my connection, but thanks for having me on, Alex. I know I've done like some of the pop-in things for Card Room Live, but twice you tried to get me on a panel, and I think I flaked on you both times. So really appreciate you sticking with me here. My card. So first off, I think a lot of people enjoy my driving videos because they like seeing kind of the rural country lifestyle played out in real time. And that's just not that part of my life. It's like that all over around here. I actually grew up in a real small community called Bow. And you've seen Footloose and you kind of think of like the Footloose community. It was a lot like that. So it's like house, field, barn, house, barn, field, house. And that's just the way it was. I loved it growing up. I mean, I had the best playground. There's a river that runs right through the middle of it. There's an old broken down barn across the street that belonged to my grandfather. And that was like the world's greatest jungle gym. And anyway, one thing that happens in communities like this is you go every week or every other week and you get your groceries, like your pasta and your cereal and stuff like that. And then you go to your meat guy and get your meat. And you go to your dairy guy and you get your dairy. And so our milk guy was down the street, Extrans Dairy. And one day on the way home from Extrans Dairy, my dad tells me, old Gardner Extrand played some CFL football back in the day. It was a CFL Canadian Football League star. Oh, that's interesting. So flash forward to about maybe 5 years ago, the local newspaper does an update on where Gardner Extrand is today. And at that time, he was just being moved into an assisted living place. And there was a little write-up on his CFL career and his dairy and how long he ran that, and just sort of like a little bio. And in this article was pictures of a couple football cards, which I had no idea that he had. And so I had to go and get one. So this is a 1965 CFL Gardner Extrand, and it looks like it's made by Topps. It doesn't Topps on the back, But this is very cool. He also has a post serial card that I really want to get because I like the write-up a little better. I like the pose better. And he's got this brilliant green uniform, but being that it's Canadian issued, a little harder to get. So they're $50, $60, $70, and I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. But Gardner's still with us, alive and well in the assisted living facility. And every time we drove by that dairy, it was only a quarter mile from my house, maybe a half mile. I always thought, oh, he was a football star, but I didn't know until real recently he had a card, a couple cards, and I think he's had 3. And on the back, oh, by the way, and he's in the CFL Hall of Fame, so he's not just some guy that played a couple of years or whatever. But it says Gardner plays both defense and offense and has won a place in Western Conference All-Star team in 62 and 63 and was on the Canadian All-Star team. Gardner is married and lives in Bow, Washington.
Uh-huh.
And there is a little cartoon of him and his bride, Daisy, from down the street, who was the best chocolate chip cookie chef on Allen West Road, at least in the 70s and 80s anyway. So that is my probably never before seen or never will be seen on Cardroom Live. Gardner Ekstrand.
Yeah, I can't imagine. That's awesome. I love it. Right down the street. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Trevor, back to you.
So I have in my collecting, I went down the Indiana born because that's where I live and have grown up is Indiana, Southern Indiana for me, rabbit hole. And it started with Gil Hodges and Carl Erskine cards, but I thought the town I grew up in is Bedford, and we had a Major League Baseball player. And so I was at a regional show over at Moeller High School in Cincinnati, and I went up to a dealer, and it was Bill Chappell, and I said, "Do you have any cards of this guy?" This is Bill Reardon. He's the only Major League player born and raised in the town that I grew up in, Bedford, Indiana. And Chappell said, "What years did he play?" And I told him, and he went right to the M101-5 stack, M101 stack, pulled this card out. And
hold that card up again, Trevor. Yeah. Great.
Bill played on the Giants for the New York Giants, and he played on the 1919 Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, okay.
Him and Ivy Wingo caught the majority of the games, and Ivy Wingo was the primary catcher that season. So he ended up with a World Series title. He moved back to the town that we both grew up in and worked until he got sick and ended up passing away there. Natural causes. But that's the only Major League player from my hometown, and that's what really got me going down the rabbit hole of players from my state. Because when I got that, I thought, well, let's see if I can't get all the Hall of Famers from Indiana. And then that just spread out to everything else.
Mm-hmm. Dave, I'm sensing a theme. Do you have a card from your hometown?
No.
No?
Nobody from my hometown.
All right, I guess we'll take whatever else you got, dude.
Yeah. So I guess 2012 was, my introduction into buying vintage, because I really didn't consider like 70s cards vintage to me, So I was for work out in Arizona, out in Tucson, and, hitting up, a couple card shops out there. And I saw this one, and I was like, I didn't care the condition. I was just happy to just get a vintage card in my collection. And of course, it's the 57 Hank Aaron. We've all seen this one multiple times, the written bottom, but I've since upgraded to this one here.
That's a great one.
Oh yeah. I can't remember what what's wrong with it. But yes, that is a fantastic looking one. You know, nothing on the back. But yeah, this is what got me into collecting vintage right there. So, and then downhill, as we all say.
Yeah. We can see what happened behind you. Yeah. Okay, Eddie.
Well, so I'm going to double back to the hometown hero thing, or guy from down the street, except we got to go back in time a little bit for this one. So I moved, I grew up in Bow, like I said, very, very, very rural farms. And now I live in the big city of Sedro-Woolley, which is 13,000 people. We have 4 traffic lights now. But way back in the 20s, I looked at the census, there was about 2,000 people that lived in Sedro-Woolley. And one guy was named W.B. Pigg, P-I-G-G. And he had a confectionery. He was like a candy magnate here in this little tiny town, and owned some other businesses, and did like a whole Santa Claus thing, and got like letters from local kids to Santa, like through the store or what have you. And the story isn't really about him. It's about his son, Victor, who was a standout athlete from a young age. He was a 2-time state champion, track. What am I saying? State track champion in long jump and high jump, I think. Played football and baseball in college, Santa Clara University and Washington State College. After college, he played baseball in West Coast leagues and got good enough that eventually the Seattle Rainiers, sorry, not the Rainiers, the team before the Rainiers, the Seattle Indians came calling. And I learned about all of this through a website called Skagit River Journal, which basically chronicles old articles from whatever, 100 plus years ago. And someone had shared it with me and say, hey, do you know about this professional ball player from Sedro-Woolley? And I didn't. But all of this guy lived, and his dad's candy shop and all that was no more than a mile and a half from where I sit now. A little further than Garner Ekstrand lived. But he played on the Seattle Indians. And in the article, they showed a picture of him on a Z-Nuts card. And I immediately raced to eBay and said, I don't care what it takes. I'm getting this card of this guy. And I had a save search for 3 years before I even saw one, before one got listed. And I think I got it for $50-$60. I would have paid. I mean, I don't know what I put in, but it was at least 3 figures. So here is a 23 Z-Nut Vic or Victor Pigg, P-I-G-G. And he played, I don't want to call it minor league ball because PCL wasn't really minor league at the time. It was its own separate league. But he played in the PCL for 6 years. Then eventually wanted a more steady income, so he became a state patrolman and eventually settled down. His kids got teased so mercilessly about their last name, they changed their last name at school. But I've seen one other one listed since I got this, and it has a significant chunk missing from up here. But I would love to find another copy and donate it to we have a really good local museum here in town. And I would love to print out that article or present it with the article, because his dad was such a huge part of that little downtown area with the candy shop. And after he retired from baseball, like I said, he became a state patrolman, and then he became a semi-pro bowler on the side because somehow in this tiny town there was a bowling alley back in the day. That's Victor Pigg.
Amazing. And I love Z-Nut cards, but the story behind that is awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Trevor, back to you.
Yes. So this is a 59 Topps George Crow. card. What makes George unique, other than he's born in Indiana, is he was the first high school Mr. Basketball in Indiana. And back in the day, before they decided to go like most of the rest of the country into class basketball, like when I was in high school up through the early 90s, there was one class of basketball. Every high school basketball team in the state played in the same tournament. It didn't matter if you had 60 kids in your high school or 600 or 6,000, you all played in the same tournament. And
Right.
George was the first Mr. Basketball in Indiana. And so right out of high school, he ends up joining military for World War II. He gets out and he's in Los Angeles and he plays for a barnstorming basketball team called the Los Angeles Red Devils. And the first year he played, this guy was one of his teammates.
Wow.
Jackie Robinson played basketball with George on the Los Angeles Red Devils that year. Well, George had a brother, Ray Crow, who was a high school basketball coach in Indiana. And Ray won consecutive basketball championships, and he had this guy on his team, Oscar Robertson. So they won Oscar's junior and senior year. Ray, who is George's brother, coached Indianapolis Crispus Attucks to state titles in Oscar's junior and senior year. Oscar's sophomore year, they got beat in the Final Four by a little team called Milan. And Milan is the high school team that Hickory in the movie Hoosiers
Okay.
is
Yeah.
off of. So
Yeah,
so after he retired, George moved out into the mountains. I think it said it was 13 miles from 8 to 10 miles from a paved road. No lights, no running water, none of that. And he would see and talk to anybody that was willing to make the trip out to see and talk to him. But other than his family, like his daughters, he didn't really talk to anybody. And he called his cabin the Jackass Inn.
Amazing. Battle Jimmy Chitwood. That's right. Great, Dave.
Well, I mean, after hearing Trevor and Eddie's stories, I feel like mine are like, my stories are like chopped liver. So I think I'm just going to sit here and be mediocre eye candy for you.
Just make some stuff up, Dave. It's fine.
Every has a story.
Huh?
Every card has a story. How it came to be in your collection
Yeah.
and
So-
why.
So back to the 23 National. This is, I was looking at a couple cards, got a quote from the guy, which the dealer is now one of my friends, and everything. It's kind of interesting how life goes about. But so everybody knows I've done videos with Mike Pike, right? So this is the dealer that I'm dealing with. So I get the quote from him going on, and I think I ran into Matt again. And so I'm like asking Matt, and then he comes over on our way over. Theo, like, tags along with us to go look at this card. Now Theo's calling John Mangini to come over and look at it. I think he calls Orlando to come over and look at it. Orlando finds us because one of the cards is a Cuban card. And so we look at it, and Orlando and I are now negotiating like what I should actually pay for this. But after I show you this, it leads into another story for something else. So the two cards is this one here, this Carl Hubble.
Mm.
Right. I can't pronounce it properly, but I don't want to do it disgrace by calling it. Yeah, see, Orlando's in there. And then this is the most I've ever spent on a card, probably still to this day, because my other ones I've never spent more, but it's the T206
Mm.
Christy Mathewson White Cat. Right. So my first T206 right here, my first, I think, pretty much pre-war card that I buy. Well, after I get done buying this, we all go to lunch and we're sitting there. Well, Orlando is like, hey, I'm going to go walk the floor. And I was like, I'll go with you. I leave my son with Matt and Theo. So Orlando and I were going to see Ryan, which deals with Cuban cards. And I was like, all right. So I go over there, I'm like looking. And then Orlando's friend, his name just passed, Victor, was there at the table also. So now we're all chatting. Victor's going through cards. And Orlando's like, says something to him. And Victor hands me a card and it's like, you should get this card. Here. So I'm like looking at it. We asked Ryan how much the card is. He was like $200. So now I'm sitting here holding this card. And I'm like, all right. And then we're just chatting. I'm chatting with Ryan. I'm like, how did you get into collecting, Cuban cards and stuff? He tells me the story, about how he talked to somebody else at a card show that was supposed to be signing autographs. And talked to this guy for several hours, finding out that he was a Cuban player in the Negro Leagues, all this stuff. And he was just fascinated as a kid and then ended up just going this route. And so after we're done, Orlando's like, hey, he's getting into collecting Cuban cards. Why don't you give him a deal? Cut him a break or whatever. And Ryan's like, let me see the card. And he takes the card. He looks at it and he's like, you know what? You can have it. And I'm like, what do you mean have it? And he's like, you can have it. I'm like, for free? And he was like, yeah. Me and Orlando look at each other and our jaws just hit the floor. I was like, now I get a free $200 card, of Silvio Garcia. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, of this one. I've shown this before, And apparently this is Branch Rickey's choice before Jackie Robinson. To bring up to be the first, Negro League player into the league. So yeah, there's my long-winded story on getting a free $200 card.
That was a great story, Dave.
Yeah.
Like what you were worried about. Incredible.
It's my favorite price for baseball cards.
Right.
What?
That's the best price ever. Yeah.
Yeah, free.
Absolutely. All right, Eddie.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. I'm actually looking at a card from the Propaganda Montreal, or however you say it, set right now at a auction. If I decide to, I'm supposed to be saving for something, and I am, but I saw this card the other day, and anyway, I'll let you know if I get it. But
I think
now
everybody.
you're worried about your stories, Dave. I don't even have a card for this. I have a non-card share.
Okay.
But I ran it by Alex. He said it's the stories that are important. So that's good. So I became a baseball fan in the mid to late 80s, 86, 87, mostly because of my brother. And I liked baseball before that. I played baseball, but I wasn't like a major league baseball fan until, like I said, 86, 87. And at that time, I wanted so badly to have some connection with baseball and my dad or my mom or somebody else, because I know baseball's is fathers and sons, right? And my dad just didn't seem to care all that much about baseball. He would go to our games, but he loved the 3 up, 3 down. Let's get him out of here. Matter of fact, a couple of years ago, I tried one last time. I'm like, there's got to be a way to make a connection here. So I asked him if, as a kid, he ever went from where we live here in Skagit County down to see the Seattle Rainiers play, and probably would have been the late 50s, early 60s, many years before the Pilots were around. And he said, I think one time Uncle took us down there took me and my brothers down there to a game. And I said, what? And so now I'm excited, right? What do you remember about it? He goes, well, I remembered I couldn't wait for it to end so I could go home. Womp womp. But this item I'm going to show you, actually, I have a connects me from baseball to my mom, who has always been a little more interested in the sport. She'll put on, like if there's a playoff game, she'll put it on the TV at home. So there's a little something there. But she was one of these like baton twirler. You know what a baton is? It's like a stick and when she was a kid from like 4 through her late teens, she was like a baton twirling expert or whatever. And she did hundreds of parades and special events. And in the early 60s, she was asked to do a thing at a Rainier's game with her squad or whatever. And they gave out, I guess it's a stadium giveaway, but they gave out this pin that said "Go Seattle Majors."
Oh, nice. And
I think it was to sort of drum up support for getting a major league team into Seattle. I don't know if it was a stadium giveaway or like something you could buy. And I would love to find out so I could hopefully pinpoint the exact date and maybe figure out like who she got to see play and all this stuff so I could build this connection a little better. But she gave that to me probably 2 or 3 years ago. And I've been meaning to do a video on it like on Mother's Day or something, but I always forget. So I'm like, hey, here's a perfect time to do the video. And so I keep this with my, I collect Washington State baseball stuff. And so I keep it with my display of Washington State baseball. Seattle Majors. It looks like it was, it's beautifully vintage. It's faded and it's got, rust on the back and everything. And I love it. Simple thing, but very cool.
That's so great. That little piece of history of prior to having the team.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. All right, guys, we definitely have room for one more round, maybe 2, depending on how quickly this goes. How long it takes Dave to get through his long-winded stories. So, Trevor, we're gonna go back to you.
Well, I'll show the one that come up before we went live.
Oh, beautiful! Look at that! Wow.
52, Eddie Waitkus. Now, my only connection with Eddie is that we share the same birthday, September. Eddie was born 50 years before I was, so. But
I'm assuming that you haven't dealt with any like hospital visits and crazy.
I like this card though because it talks about him being shot by the girl,
Right?
but it talks about his service during World War II, where he won 4 battle stars, was wounded as an amphibious engineer, and in the Pacific. So I think that tells his story probably better and more complete than I ever could.
Yeah, the 55 that I always show that Scott gave me tells the story about what happened to him, but it does not mention anything about World War II. So it really kind of shortchanges him in that respect.
Yeah.
Alex, is that one where it says, I was shot by a deranged girl, like in the first line?
Yep. In 1949, I was shot by a
I have that
girl.
just for that because I love that
Yes.
so much.
Well, 52, the 52, the first line is shot by a crazed girl on June 1949.
Crazed, deranged.
Yeah.
Right.
I like
6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah.
Right. All right, Dave.
All right. Since we're, down to one last card, maybe 2 and stuff. So I know Alex and Eddie has this card, but
Yeah, I already know what it is. Okay.
yeah, you already know. There's plenty of cards, but it's a frat house story. So John, 3D80 kid, right? You know where I'm going with this,
Sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
right? Has all these bubble envelopes, and He makes everybody pick an envelope, so nobody knows what's in this envelope and everything. And then everybody opens the card it opens up at the same time, and we all have this card right here
Mine
in
is
there.
back here somewhere.
See?
Mine's a 7.
So it was a great moment in the frat house from John to gift everybody, this Fred Rogers card. Won't you be my neighbor? So,
I got an 8.5 as well.
See, so great story, great memory right here. So that's one of my favorites. I have it, usually keep it up on my shelf. So
why an 8.5? Like, maybe I'm just imagining whoever was grading that day at SGC, like, just got a whole bunch of Fred Rogers cards, and they're like, you know what? They're all 8.5s. I'm going to lunch. Like, why 8.5?
They were mostly 8.5s.
Well, Dan said his.
I think mine deserved an 8.5. What are they doing at SGC?
Yeah.
They're like, this one's going to Eddie. Gets a 7.
Yeah. Right. That's okay. Appreciate it just as much as ever.
All right, Eddie.
Yeah. So it's back to me. So I know John got everyone a Mr. Rogers card. You got everyone a T-shirt. And I got everyone a nice hot cup of Jack Squat. You're welcome.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. So in about, it was 2000, I decided I was influenced, and that's not inspired by other YouTubers enough that I wanted to branch into vintage cards. One problem is I wanted to get something I knew I would continue to enjoy and not just, handfuls of things here and there. And so at that time, I was buying some modern cards, which included packs here and there. I would buy boatloads of commons for TTMing, like off sport and places like that. And so I never seemed to be spending more than maybe $20 at a time, because I would just piece together my hobby money through whatever, I get something for my birthday, or I remember I had this trick, like if I was supposed to get $20 of gas, I'd get 18, and then I had $2, this is not that long ago. I don't know how proud I am of it, but anyway, I knew that I had to sort of change my approach and get better at saving up larger sums of money. And when I decided to do this, I had one card in mind that I knew I wanted first. And I saw this card in a Beckett when I was a kid, and we used to bring our Becketts to school. And I remember pointing at this card to a friend and just thinking, it's so old and the player is so legendary. I didn't even think you could get cards like that, because you're not really going to go to your card shop and see it sitting out. Obviously, a decade before the internet, and I just put it out of my mind. It wasn't didn't become like a goal card until I decided to collect vintage. So anyway, I cobbled up, I figured I would need between $200 and $250. It took me about 2 months to get it, because at the time I had a much hobby budget. Found a listing on eBay that I thought would work. Only problem is it was going to end when I was on a trip with my wife, and just out of respect for her, it was like an anniversary trip. I didn't want to interfere with the trip. Yeah. She probably would have been cool with it. She's awesome. But anyway, the auction was ending when we were at the Grand Canyon, or on that trip. And it was basically during COVID. Vegas was 2/3 shut down, all the good stuff. You couldn't go on. And so we just rented a car, drove it to the Grand Canyon. And so I'm at the Grand Canyon, I'm in the visitor center, and there's 2.5 hours left. So I put in my max, 250-ish. I knew that I had, hit send then or whatever. We drive all the way back to wherever we rented the car from there in Vegas. And I'm like, I wonder if I won this auction. It should be right about now that it's ending. and she's getting the car checked out by the rental person. You know, they got to do like a little inspection or whatever. So I pull out my phone and I pull up the auction. 3, 2, 1, 0. I had it, and I wrote down the day. Not that this is all that important, but August 10th, 2020, for $201.50, 1956 Topps Jackie Robinson. Wow, I'm almost breaking up here. To see this card as a kid, and then to get it one day, and it remains. I mean, I could have bought this several times over by now with the budget I have now and how I do the hobby now. But this card, this exact copy, is always going to be, I mean, easily my top 5 favorite cards. And I look at this card every day on my wall, and I just remember, you know, that this is how I want a hobby now, just in bigger chunks and more meaningful cards for me. And look at Jackie there. I love last cards. It's kind of my favorite thing, to get the last card of somebody. And my all-time favorite set. So this might be one of the most perfect cards. And yes, it's gone up. It's no longer worth $200, but it doesn't matter to me, because they're going to toss it in my casket when I go.
That's great. And you know what, Eddie, I love that, you know, like, everybody can get excited about a card like that, but the fact that you put some effort into getting it and that it took some time, I think those are the cards to me that stand out in my collection. You know, not, you know, like sometimes it's easy to just kind of pull the trigger or whatever, but for a card like that, you have to like plan for it and think about it and whatever, and then you finally can get it. Like, those are the cards that are, and I think it's like, because there's something more meaningful about the amount of time it took and patience and that sort of thing, that makes it stand out.
Yeah, I'm doing that now on a bigger scale. I mean, by a multiple of 10, I've spent almost no money this year, because I've taken that same practice. I've gotten good at it now, and just delaying that gratification. And I know what I want. When I get it, it's going to be so much more meaningful to me than whatever I could have, you know, this and that, spent that money on. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Just how you do the hobby is personal. But it feels so good to have like a discipline, and then a payout of something that you're going to love the rest of your life, or as long as you have it. So anyway, it's my story.
I think it's great. And like, there's some life stuff in there too, I think, you know, not just cards. All right, guys, rapid fire. We've got 5 minutes. Trevor.
Yes. Carl Erskine, born in Anderson, Indiana, had a son, Jimmy, that was born with Down syndrome. So Carl was involved with Special Olympics for over 40 years. And after Jimmy and he both passed, Indiana Special Olympics came out with this card that shows Jimmy and Lasorda and Carl, and then Carl and his wife and Jimmy down there. And on the back, it talks about their story. And they handed these out to Special Olympic volunteers and all. And my wife is involved with Indiana Special Olympics.
Oh, great.
Come to possess that.
Nice. Fantastic. Dave.
Quick note, my dad lives in Anderson, Indiana. So I guess a quick one. I do have a card that was owned by Roberto Clemente. I almost said Robert, but Roberto Clemente. You know, so out of his collection, you know, got the little cert that's on the back of it. Bought it at the National from the dealer Paul that deals with all the Roberto Clemente stuff.
Awesome.
So there you go, a little quick fire.
Sweet. Eddie, any last fire to flash real quick?
I think he's frozen. He's still in awe about the Jackie.
He's looking at the Jackie card.
Yeah.
We may have lost him.
I don't know, but I have a card that Eddie was with when I bought it. 1914 Cracker Jack.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Last year's National. Yeah.
Love the horizontal.
So there you go.
Well, guys, we're just about out of time anyway. Eddie, if you're out there, Trevor, Dave, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in, guys. It was a lot of fun. We'll do it again.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Those of you that have been along for the ride, appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this live stream about nothing, give it a thumbs up. We will be back next Sunday night with another session of Card Room Live. Until then, jump over onto For Collectors and have a great week, everybody. Take care.